Part 7. It's the big boy, Steel Ball Run. Okay, so important to note about this arc is that it doesn't exactly follow on from the previous parts. We've had this rough continuity between parts 1 through 6, ending with that world reset, but parts 7 and 8 take place in their own reality. But you're still going to see a lot of the familiar faces and the names in here, just know that they're different people now. Let's go. We're going back in time. It's 1890 and there's going to be a horse race, the greatest horse race of all time. It'll be from one side of the United States to the other, cut into 9 different stints. The winner gets $50 million, and that's about 1.5 billion in today's terms. Our heroes, the young Johnny Joestar, our JoJo for this part, and Gyro Zeppeli, both horse race extraordinaires. Let's see the major competition. We've got Sandman, who's just going to run the whole race on foot, Poco Loco, who is crazy lucky, Hot Pants, who has one of the best names, Stroheim, another cyborg, Mountain Tim, the absolute champ, Mr. Higashikata, who's here to be important in Part 8, Urmud Avdol, just another familiar face, and last, but certainly not least, Dio Brando, the horse racing champ of England. Things start out with Gyro showing off this ability to spin a steel ball, which can do, well, pretty much anything. One of the first things we see it do is briefly let Johnny walk. See, Johnny was in an accident years ago that left him wheelchair bound. So, with his legs briefly healed, Johnny is sticking to Gyro to learn the secrets of spin and maybe get the ability to walk again. So the races begin and we very quickly learn the truth behind the race. This has been manufactured by the President of the United States, Funny Valentine, to try and collect the body parts of a certain saint rumored to be scattered across America. The burial places of each part, well, they're placed along the route of the race, so by the time the race ends, the whole corpse should be able to be reassembled at the finish line. Currently, Valentine is in possession of one part, that being the heart. But of course, it's not modern JoJo's without some stand attacks in the meantime, so here come some villains. We've got the Cactus Popper, another magnet-related stand, another bomb-related stand. But it's during these fights that Johnny finally learns the art of spin, awakening his own stand called Tusk. Currently, he can fire his fingernails like a gun. Johnny also picks up the first corpse part, the left arm. The pair also make friends with Mountain Tim, who's a surprise tool that they'll use later. We get another fight, this time with another fishing hook guy, and then we get the first big showdown. Gyro and Johnny make it to a rest town alongside Dio, who starts acting strangely. Then he turns into an actual dinosaur, and suddenly a bunch of other people start turning into dinosaurs too. Gyro and Johnny find out that this isn't actually Dio's power, it was someone else, and they manage to take that person down, discovering the next corpse part, the eyes, in the process. Well, with the enemy defeated, Dio manages to snag one of the eyes and run off, also stealing that dinosaur ability for himself, and now he can turn into a dino on command. Well, time for some more fights. Hot Pants shows up and becomes a friend, rewinding time, running on rain, and is one of the worst villains of this part because he kills Mountain Tim. Sandman reveals himself as an enemy, basically he has Koichi's stand, Greed that turns you into a tree, just 11 guys, Dark Gyro and an immovable object. By this point, Gyro and Johnny have collected almost all of the corpse parts, but then the next person to attack them, another guilt stand, manages to get them to lose them all. They all fall into the hands of the President, Funny Valentine himself. And this is where we get into the endgame. Gyro is attacked by Disco Gridman, and Funny Valentine enters the fray. His stand? Okay, brace yourself. You know how Golden Wind had a confusing final villain power and then Stone Ocean kinda went even harder? Well, Steel Ball Run tries to top it again. His stand is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. What it does is let Valentine cross to parallel worlds. When two parallel beings encounter each other, they explode. But not him. So he keeps pulling in alt versions of himself to achieve the goal of getting the corpse together. So the JoJo's are versing almost all of the Valentines across infinite Earths. Anyways, using that, he gets away with all of the corpse pieces and puts them into this girl named Lucy. Now, she's had this whole kind of B-plot about stealing the corpse parts, which had her disguised as Valentine's wife, but ultimately she got found out, and now Valentine has used her as like a conduit for all of the corpse parts. So now it's the final showdown, and it's a long one. Lucy kind of gets taken over by the corpse, unintentionally powering up Valentine with the power to push anything negative that happens to him to somewhere else. As long as Valentine stays in the blessing, he's unbeatable. He kills off Dio and Hot Pants. Gyro tries to get Johnny to reach the peak of spin to take down Valentine, but he dies in the process. Thankfully, it works, with Johnny's stand Tusk powering its spin to the final level, which, okay, another complex stand. If it touches you, you will spin infinitely, pulling you back to the same space again and again. Only a counter spin from Johnny can stop it. Using this, he takes down Valentine. Just before Valentine dies, he heads to another world and pulls through someone else to finish his task, to take the corpse and store it safely in America to provide that blessing for the whole country. Who does he pull through? An alternate Dio with that all too familiar stand. So now it's time stop Dio versus full power Johnny, and it looks like Dio wins the fight when he finds Lucy right at the end. She pulls out the head of the original Dio, causing them to come together and blow up time stop Dio. Johnny ends up taking the corpse of Gyro across the sea to return it to his family, and that is where the story ends. Let's do the key references. There's Dio turning into a dinosaur. I have taken the first napkin. Johnny's bug bite fetish. The guy who just keeps saying, make her docile like a winter catfish. The weekday joke. Valentine's wife saying, sit on me, Lucy. The pizza song, of course. Dio styling on his horse. And from being able to sum up this whole part by saying, look, I know we need to win this race, but Jesus told me we need to kill the president. As a fan of JoJo, it's really hard not to enjoy this part. It's all the good stuff from the previous parts rolled together into this exciting horse race, and it's just great. Familiar characters, familiar powers, but also playing around with some of those ideas as well. This part is a fan favorite, and it's easy to see why. The stand battles are still here, but for the most part they feel like part of the story rather than just obstacles to the end goal, and it makes it a lot more engaging. Yeah, there's certainly some weirdness in that Lucy subplot, but Johnny and Gyro's journey is really good. Definitely give it a read if you're an anime-only fan, but that's going to be it for today. We'll catch you next time for the JoJo's finale for now in JoJolian. Thanks for watching. This has been CG, and I will see you G's in the next one.